Everybody, are we ready? Are we ready?
Yes.
Remember the 11th commandment, thou shalt lighten up. Okay?
Yes, lighten up.
Okay, so where briefly connection available. Okay. We just really we need to finish that because someone asked a question last time. Okay.
Have not been here.
No, you're right. I couldn't move. So we're talking about what happens if a person, basically, just to cover a little backtrack for those people who have not been here at previous classes. Basically, we're only responsible to fix 3 parts of our soul. We know there's a total of 5. Shama, which is number 3. There's 2 other peripheral levels of soul. We're only responsible for completing our nefesh, ruach, and neshama. Okay? And then once you do those 3, you're considered to be the whole person. You are completely and enlightened and finished with what you need to do down here. Okay? To build your vessel to receive the infinite light. There are copies available of, or to borrow here.
Oh, Anne needs one too.
Okay.
She forgot hers. Hold on.
So we spoke about most people are not here their first time. So what happens if you don't get all of them in your one lifetime? Your first down starts off with a nefesh at birth. If you're merit, you get a ruach at 13. And if you merit at 20, you get finally your neshama. Okay? That's the best case scenario that basically we all missed out on. Okay? Because what happens if you don't complete your nefesh in that first lifetime, that first time that that your soul comes down? So basically, you have to finish your nefesh. And then once you finish your nefesh, your ruach cannot come in that same lifetime. Okay? Because why? Right? You are already in a different category, and the category is called, to put it in eBay dialogue, refurbished. Okay? You're already a reincarnated, you already were here once, and your program is now on a different wavelength, you're on a different program. Can I close the door here?
Please.
No, it's locked. Okay. It's something, there's a widget there. All right. So in any case, the person has to come back down. Once he finishes nefesh, even if he finishes nefesh at age 20, he has to come back down, and then he comes with his ruach to complete his ruach. And even though, let's say in that lifetime, he has completed his nefesh and his ruach, he's ready for his neshama, it can't happen in that lifetime. He has to come back with his nefesh and his ruach with his neshama to complete his neshama. In other words, it has to be a minimum of 3 or could be more, of subsequent lifetimes, each one to get each one of those levels. Okay? I think we discussed that many times. And then we even had a situation where, the last situation we discussed, in the case where the person, he refined his nefesh, his lowest part of his soul, to such a degree where his nefesh doesn't need to come back anymore. His nefesh gets to go to a very special place, but Tzrur HaHayim, in the bundle, this place called the bundle of life, okay? This reservoir of souls, and he hangs there. I don't know if there's Wi-Fi, okay? I'm sure there is some kind of super Wi-Fi, okay? And he basically, the nefesh hangs there, and the ruach goes down to get completed. But the ruach cannot go down unless it has a vehicle to ride, a garment. It needs a lower soul in order to be encased in, to come down into this world. So what does he do? He borrows, he gets the nefesh of the ger. The nefesh of the ger, the soul of the convert, as we know, are created from the unifications of the righteous in the Garden of Eden. That means every single night in the Garden of Eden, the righteous are having unbelievable dialogues with each other. They're getting together, right? And through their connecting, okay, it says one place it implies actual intimacy. Another place it involves just a talking. But in any case, through what the righteous in the Garden of Eden are doing every single night after midnight this happens, by the way. It's a very special time to wake up in the wee hours of the morning. You get a special clarity, and if you learn Torah that, you get to connect to all of those righteous in the Garden of Eden, okay? So in any case, the righteous in the Garden of Eden, every time that they are having these intimate moments, they are creating souls, okay? They're creating the souls of the converts, which is basically these souls of the converts are hanging out in a place very much like a coat room, okay? And so when a ruach, a spirit, needs to come down into this world to get complete, so it grabs through a nefesh of a convert, and then it's able to now come into this world in order to complete itself.
So when a convert goes in the mitzvah, he receives one of those souls.
Yeah, or could. Not necessarily. Could. It's not always. It's not an all the time case. It's not an all the time case. He does get a soul when he goes into the mikveh. When a convert goes into the mikveh, they do get a soul. Okay? But if it happens to be there's a waiting list of spirits that need to get a fix, so then they'll ride into that person. Right? They will connect. If there is such a need. Okay? We don't know, and you can't say that about. Bottom line, I think we said last time, after I've gone through all of these texts with my father-in-law, it comes down is you just don't know. In other words, you don't know who's got whose nefesh, who's got whose ruach, who's got whose neshama. And definitely the converts, they could be that they have your ruach. You're here trying to fix your nefesh, right? Your number one, level one soul. And it could be that your ruach piggybacked off of him, this convert, and he has your spirit. He has your level 2 soul that he's trying to fix. That's why it says how many times in the Chumash? To be careful with the convert, right? Some people say 48 times, okay, 36 or 30. It was numerous times not to oppress the convert. Because why? He has your soul. It could be, or he has some other soul of some other Jew. So 1 second, let me just finish this thought so what happens then? Great. This ruach needs to come into this world. It finds the nefesh of a ger, the soul of a convert, and it joins with the nefesh, the soul of the convert in the lifetime, and the soul of the convert helps this ruach to get its completion. What a great thing. Okay? And then so after they die, after that person dies, so the ruach will join with the original nefesh, its original part of its number 1 level soul that was hanging out in that reservoir of souls we called the goof.
Called who?
The goof.
As in body?
You bet. There's a reservoir of souls called the goof.
Huh.
Okay? And so it joins together. You can imagine what the dialogue of the nefesh who was hanging out, waiting for the ruach to get his act together, right? Like I don't know what kind of dialogue that they could be saying. Like, what took you so long, man? Where you at? Are you busy? I hope you're busy playing Aunt Mildred down there making cookies for the sisterhood, right? Are y'all done? Been waiting for you, right? So we got to get moving, because then they join and then they come back down to get their level 3 soul, their neshama. Okay? And then once they get their neshama complete, don't need to come back down anymore. Okay? So then, what happens to the nefesh of the ger? The nefesh of the ger was used to complete this ruach. All of a sudden, when they leave the world, that ruach goes back to his original nefesh. And what am I? Chopped liver? Right? So what happens to that nefesh, that soul of the convert? So that's where we left off. If anybody can help me and tell me what page that was on. I have it marked. We're on page 33.
Yep.
Yes, 33. Okay.
We ended right above the number 6.
Thank you. Right? So here, okay, skip just to the big words there. Skip this commentary and just go right to where it says the nefesh of the ger.
Okay.
The nefesh of the ger, the convert or the stranger, was joined to the ruach in this world. And it had been a vehicle for it in this world. Right? It facilitated this ruach, this spirit, could be your spirit, to get its completion. It, the nefesh of the ger, has helped it, the ruach, to perform good deeds. And through their union, the ruach was able to achieve its tikkun. Does everybody know what tikkun means? Tikkun is fixing, it's repair, right? Tikkun. Everything's about tikkun here. This world is called Olam HaTikkun, the world of tikkun, fixing. People think this world is a great place to hang, okay? We're here to fix. We're here not to get too involved in golf or football. Listen, you use it for if you need to, like, go ahead and, whatever, distract yourself, okay, a little bit, just for what we call recreation, okay, whatever, in right measurements, okay? But really, this world is the world, this word for yourselves always to integrate this, okay? Because when things are going bumpy in your lives, you have this one word to fall back on. It's called, okay, it's my tikkun, okay? Like, why am I stuck doing this job? Okay, this work, or in this position? Tikkun. The concept of tikkun. In any case, through their union, the ruach was able to achieve its tikkun. Therefore, this nefesh of the ger, this soul of the convert, will also become elevated with the original nefesh of this ruach. It's not left out in the cold. It's not left alone. The two of them will be on the same level in the world to come, like neighbors apart from one another. Okay? World. People have chavrusas. You have a chavrusa. How do we know this? My first introduction to this was in the story of the Baal Shem Tov. The Baal Shem Tov had the neshama of Achia Hashiloni, who was an early prophet in the times of King Solomon. Apparently, he was his spirit guide. He was his mentor, a spiritual mentor. The Baal Shem Tov, Rabbi Yisrael ben Rabbi Eliezer, had a mentor from the spirit world by the name of Achia Hashiloni. Okay, so in other words, he connected to this prophet because the stories he told people. Okay, he said there's details that outlay when this man came to him in a dream and says, "You meet me in this cave in the Carpathian Mountains, between this mountain and that mountain. There's a cave there. You go there, meet me Tuesday." And he didn't think anything of it, right? And then the next day, he had another same dream, the cave, Tuesday. And then he didn't think anything of it. And then he's in the mikveh, and the Baal Shem Tov, he had his kavanah of opening his eyes when he was in the water. And he goes in the mikveh and the same guy was right there in the mikveh going, "Tuesday, be in the cave." Okay, so he goes to the lid, and then there's right, and he's sitting learning with this man, and he learned, and day after day after day, he met with this whatever, revealed what he is, and he was trembling. The Baal Shem Tov was trembling. Okay, that it was the soul of Achia Hashiloni. So in any case, Achia Hashiloni. Okay?
Who's that?
Okay, he was a prophet in the times of King Solomon. Okay, in any case, just to get to the chase, he would ask this spirit guide, he said many things, and he says, "I want to know about my level." Why is this? Oh, good. Okay, so I want to know about. Can anybody record this? Are you recording this?
No, I actually didn't bring my recorder.
Okay, because my card is full. Okay. It always happens, right? I need my new card. It's all good. Okay, thank you. Is it recording? Okay, good. Thank you. Wait patiently.
Yeah, wait till she starts.
Got the soul of Achia.
Right, the soul of Achia Hashiloni. So Achia Hashiloni, he wants to say, he says, tell me about my portion, about my level of dedication. I want to see a smidge of my level of dedication, what it's like in the next world. He says, no problem. So he goes, right? Takes him to the various worlds, and he shows him in these unbelievable palaces, and he shows him 2 chairs. And this is the chair of your chavrusa, your study buddy, your buddy study, right? Who you have to go and seek and find. And then you will understand your level of Mesirat Nefesh, your level of self-dedication. Mesirat Nefesh means like handing over soul, self-sacrifice, right? So he goes, okay, great, okay, fine. So the Baal Shem Tov had a technique of how to find the guy, okay? And he basically goes and he finds a guy, and this is some guy in the woods in some village, right? He's a wood chopper, and he's a big guy, right? He goes and he says, hey, buddy, you mind if I hang out with you for a little while? Because I want to see what's with you, that you and me are somehow going to join. And he sees how this guy behaves. He doesn't do anything. He's what we call in Hebrew, a bur am haaretz, which means he's a complete ignoramus. He's not dedicated at all. There's not one blessing. He chops wood all day, schwitzing, chops a lot of wood, comes home, his wife puts him a huge plate of food, and he goes, more. And there's another plate of food, he pounds down 5 plates of food, drinks, goes to sleep. And the guy's like, come on, man, no davening, no praying. Where's this? No Torah study. What is this? What's with this? And he's like, 1 day, 2 day, 3 days. And he's like, what is going on here? Why is this my partner in the next world? The guy who I sit next to. So he finally sees, I got to ask you, I've been seeing and observing you for a few days, and can you please tell me, what's with your life? Why you eat so much food and you chop wood all day? What is it? And his answer was, he says, listen, when I was a little boy, they came, right? The Cossacks or whatever, the anti-Semites came and they killed everybody. They killed my father, right? And they put my father, and they built a fire, and they threw my father in the fire. My father was a very skinny guy, a little scrawny guy. And they made me witness my father, right? So it was such a small fire when they burned him. It was so me, I dedicate myself every single time I'm chopping to develop my strength, and I'm eating massive amounts of food so I could build a big fire. Because something, I'm going to fight like crazy when they come. And if I have to go and they're going to kill me because they're more numerous than I am, but at least when they come and they're going to burn me, I'm going to be a big fire. That was his level of Mesiras Nefesh, his level of dedication. His level of dedication was, I don't mind dying, but as long as I die, I'm going to go about big, with a big fire. Okay, so then the Baal Shem Tov understood. This person had a level of Mesiras Nefesh where all of his intentions was, I'm going to fight like hell, and I'm going to be a big fire. So the Baal Shem Tov understood that he operates the same kind of pattern in the holier realm. I believe that his son had dreams after the Baal Shem Tov passed. His son would see the Baal Shem Tov, the son of the Baal Shem Tov. He would see the Baal Shem Tov go up this cliff, throw himself down, and just become shattered pieces, right? And then the next day he had the same dream. And the Baal Shem Tov says, this is what every single one of my actions is like, what I do for God. Okay? In other words, his level of self-sacrifice, his level of Mesiras Nefesh was at that level. Okay? Where he was like, everything for God. If I would have to throw myself off a cliff, so be it, with joy and love. Okay?
They're constantly annihilated and recreated.
Yeah.
Constantly.
Yeah. It was like over and over and over again. He says, this is how I lived my life. He'd go up the top mountain, throw himself down, pieces, recreated, go back up, just over and over again. That's how I lived my life. Okay? Okay, just take it easy for all of us. Take a deep breath. But anyways, the concept of having a havrusa, a partner, in Shemayim is a Jewish concept. Okay? You have to seek out that. And there's his Shabbos observance in the next world also. Right? Quite amazing stories which just twist the brain. In any case, let's get on to the next topic. So the bottom line is, the soul of the conscience, since it did help that Ruach, it does get to join again with all of that party if they helped out. Okay? Section 3. The rectified nefesh can receive what's called an ibur. Here's the concept, a fantastic concept of ibur. Okay? New information concerning the concept of Ibor will be elucidated. The concept of Ibor was already introduced in Chapter 1, Section 8. Before the Rav reveals new information about it, he will review the important rule that we have been studying in this chapter. Namely, if a nefesh achieves tikkun only in a subsequent Gilgul, reincarnation, and not in its first lifetime, then it cannot receive ruach in the same Gilgul. And then his nefesh and ruach will be reincarnated together. So in other words, what we're doing now is really kind of a quick review. Once again, okay, page 34. If a nefesh reincarnates and becomes rectified through its actions, to the point that it is ready for its ruach, yay, he cannot receive its ruach. No. It has, as has been explained, right? If it is not his very first Gilgul, then 2 or 3 levels of soul cannot come unified in one Gilgul, in one reincarnation, without great need. We learned about this before, great need. We talked about last time. Somehow he's always reintroducing this great need concept. Okay?
Just a little bit of great need.
Great need means a pressing issue. In other words, it's very subjective, a pressing issue. Okay? It could, no, but it's really quite simple. And it really, everybody can access their pressing need. In other words, let's say, Baruch Hashem, at our beautiful, ripe, nice, mature ages, we have achieved the level of we fixed our nefesh, our level 1 soul. We're ready for our ruach, but of course, we're all refurbished souls. Mm-hmm. So the ruach cannot come. The ruach cannot come in this lifetime. Unless there's a pressing need. You make the pressing need. If there's a Jew somewhere in this world who is suffering, that's called a pressing need. Okay? In other words, if you can hook in the deep place of your heart, and there's somebody so suffering right now, all over. If you could just access the level of, hey, if there's a Jew suffering, that's called a pressing need. That's enough pressing for you that you can actually bring down your ruach, your level 2 soul in your lifetime. And there's a special verse, you say that. We learned that last week. Nafshi ivisicha balayla. That means my soul. My soul yearns for you at night, which is you're able to go ahead and bring your nefesh while you sleep. Your ruach, your level 2. You're able to bring down and wake up in the morning.
Is that from Samuel or Isaiah?
That's all.
Isaiah.
And that was from Isaiah. I think we had that on page 30. What was it? 60. Is that page 60?
60, yeah.
Nafshi ivisicha balayla, my soul has desired you at night. Even with my ruach that is within me, I seek for you. Isaiah 26:9.
Yeah.
So in other words, you say this verse, you should have it really put above your head. Above your bed, right? Oh yeah. Because then, and really it's also, this month is a really great month for that, because this month, the month of Kislev, the power, the dominant energy force of the month of Kislev is sleep, okay? That means through sleep we access the deepest parts of our soul, okay? Through dreams.
I'm Sagittarius.
You need
too.
to
It's my
fix
month.
sleep. You have to fix it. Okay.
It's my mom's day.
So in any case, if you don't have that, a pressing need, so then you're going to be with the rest of them, okay? Pressing need. Let's go on. Okay. Okay. As we will mention later, we'll talk about it later. Rather, each one requires its own different lifetime to get level 2 and 3. First, the nefesh needs to be rectified. We're just going back over the same simple steps. And even when this happens, he will not receive his ruach until after he dies. Then the nefesh can reincarnate and merit the ruach. The same is true when both of them are joined together in another lifetime. When they become rectified, level 1 and 2, they cannot receive their neshama, that's level 3, until they, die and reincarnate again, right? Then they can merit their level 3, their neshama. In other words, there's got to be different lifetimes for each different level of soul. Note number one, as we have already learned, only in the first Gilgul can the nefesh, ruach, and neshama be rectified within one body. That's when you come as a new soul. After that, which is most of the people, the person must reincarnate to move from level to level, even if he finishes one level, quote unquote, early. So what happens to the nefesh that is already rectified but lacks a ruach, like we're talking about? After the first, when it is not possible to receive another level of soul without reincarnating, what happens in the meantime? Until reincarnation to the nefesh that is already rectified. In other words, God, what are you going to do? We're here in Olam HaTikun. Let's get the show on the road. Your nefesh is complete, right? What are you going to do? It's kind of almost like a limbo. You want to move forward. Your nefesh certainly wants to move forward. You want to grow. You want that nefesh, but yet you have to, right? By the way, strength. And I think I might have mentioned this. This is why many righteous people die before their time. Okay? If they don't know how to flip it, meaning create a pressing need in a new mission, right? Or do this other technique that he's going to tell us right now, this other situation, right? This is why also people leave this world early, because hey, you're done. Yes, you had a question.
Yeah. Is it possible when you're borrowing a portion of somebody else's soul, if let's say you have an unrectified nefesh and you need to come back with a ruach and a neshama, it's possible to borrow a ruach which is already rectified, or a neshama that's already...
Okay, so what you said, if it's an unrectified nefesh,
Yeah.
a rectified ruach will not go in a jalopy, dilapidated vehicle.
Okay.
The nefesh has to be clean and working condition.
Okay.
Has to be completely fixed. The nefesh, oh my gosh, no, I'm not going to ride that. Right? The nefesh is not going to ride something like that. Okay? Has to be a complete vehicle in order for the next level to come. Okay? Has to be complete.
Is the nefesh going to come back in the same gender always, or is it going to change genders sometimes?
I think women can change to men. No, men can change to women, but women, as we're going to see later, they don't really need to reincarnate.
Huh?
Unless there's a pressing need, unless they want to come and help.
We don't need to reincarnate?
Don't need to.
We're already perfect?
Well, that's what the Arizal says. You were created in the Garden of Eden.
Out of Adam.
No one else was created in the Garden of Eden. The blessing you say every morning is She'asali Kirtsono. You made me according to his will.
You're just perfect.
There's potential. And listen, there's a room for growth. Especially if there's lots to talk about in terms of the responsibility of the women to bring the final redemption. Okay? They can do it, but you got to band together. Okay? To fix the man, okay? It's like that's your job, is to fix the man, okay? Because men are messed up, okay? So...
Okay, well, so what happens to an evil Jewish woman?
Yes, there are crazy Jewish women. Let's not talk about that, okay? We'll get to it. I think we're going to touch on it a little bit. Just hold on to that, okay? All right. Right? So here, what happens to the nefesh that is already rectified but lacks a ruach? Skip the note 2. This is the sod. Sod, notice how he doesn't translate sod. It's really cool that he didn't translate sod. Because, yes, that's how they translate it, but I don't like that. So if it's a secret, what are you doing telling them? This is the secret. Now I'm supposed to, what am I supposed to do now? Okay, sod also means formula. Okay? Formula. When I say formula, you understand mathematical formulas. Right? It's a formula. Okay?
It's not a chemical formula.
Chemical, mathematical, you can even use it as a computer program that sometimes will help us. Computers were made so we can try to understand this technology. Okay? It's an operating system.
Systems.
This is how the system is. System is also a good word. Formula, system, right? From the same level of purity and extent of tikkun attained by this nefesh, there will reincarnate into the body of this person while he was still alive the nefesh of a righteous tzaddik, of a righteous person that has already completed rectification in Gilgulim. He's already made all of his levels. He got his nefesh, ruach, neshama. He's done. Okay? But, right? He doesn't need to come back down, but you know something? There's two kinds of tzaddikim. There's two kinds of righteous people. There's the righteous people that they want to make sure they're doing right. They don't waste time. They learn all they're doing. They go through the davening, all the mitzvahs, and they're good to make sure that what they're doing is good, right? No faults, no sins. Great stuff. That's one kind of righteous person. But then there's a second kind of righteous person is, I got to help other people. I can't. My heart just, I can't. I have to work towards making a rectification of humanity. The outgoing righteous. There's the, we'll call him the inner righteous guy. I don't know what you call him. Introvert? I don't want to call him that because that's not a good term.
Himself.
The guy's a real righteous guy. Noah. He's totally righteous. But he didn't try to influence the masses. He didn't try to go out there and teach. Avram, on the other hand, was all out there. Okay? So there's different kinds of righteous people. These kind of righteous people, they're completely done. But they want it helping people. So certainly so here's what happens. The nefesh of a righteous tzaddik that has already completed rectification and gilgulim, and he does nothing here, the nefesh of this tzaddik takes the place of the ruach of this person. In other words, you finished your nefesh, and all of a sudden, what do you call it? Incubus?
The incubus, yeah.
Okay? What happens is this righteous soul comes and rides inside within you, that voice, right? That voice, he connects to you, okay? While you're alive.
Isn't it supposed to be an odd number? There's supposed to be a certain amount of souls attached to
There's
you.
only a maximum of 3, since we want to cut to the chase. Maximum of 3. We only have room for 3. Table for 3. That's all we have.
Wait a minute, maximum of 3.
I'm sorry. Let's backtrack here.
Sorry, I'm a
Including
little
the
ahead.
host.
An ibor literally means impregnation. A pregnancy. So this soul comes and will ride in the consciousness of the person like a pregnancy and influence the person for good to push him to do mitzvot. Okay? That is what's called an ibor. And this can happen while the person is alive. Okay? This is kind of a different kind of reincarnation. Yes.
Now, if an average guy rectifies his nefesh,
Yeah.
and he's sitting, and he hadn't died yet, he's sitting right away, the nefesh of the tzaddik comes down to fill his ruach. Does that mean one nefesh is better than another nefesh?
Sorry, the nefesh rectified itself and completed itself, and then what?
Then the nefesh of the tzaddik comes down.
Yes, yes,
Ruach.
as a ruach in place of his
Right.
level 2 soul,
Does
correct?
that mean one nefesh is better than another nefesh?
Which you mean, but which nefesh is better than which nefesh?
Tzaddik's nefesh is better.
Yeah,
than
because it's acting as a ruach. Don't forget, this dude, he totally completed himself.
Oh.
This righteous soul has totally rectified his nefesh, his ruach, his neshama. It's hanging out in Gan Eden, and somehow, and this is what we're going to talk about, you did something. You did something. You did a mitzvah like what he did. And all of a sudden, that resonance of that mitzvah, everything's energy. Everything works by resonance. Okay? Like things attract, like things of a vibration attract. Mitzvahs are a vibratory, they work with resonance. They have a vibration to a mitzvot. So if you did a certain mitzvot, like a certain tzaddik, like a certain righteous guy, bing! In the spiritual realm, he gets ignited and he says, oh, let's help this guy. So that ruach, now he comes, even though he's a nefesh, it's in place of a ruach. It has a much greater access to great influence. And it influences that person to do good deeds, to do better deeds. Okay?
I'm confused. So there are 2 ways for the ruach to come,
Yes, one is pressing need. You can bring your own ruach.
or this way?
And 2 is you do a certain mitzvah, and you can, I'll share with you a story.
So how does that happen? I mean, does the person who completed his nefesh, does he get a choice
Oh,
of how the?
I don't think it's like a I don't
Like
think
one
it's a web.
column,
It's
one-
Amazon website. This model only has 405,000
Look at all the specs.
giganbytes. I'll get that one. Has 10,000 gigabytes. No. What it is it's not a choice. It's not a choice. Well, it kind of could be a choice, because if you want to go ahead and extend your energy to fulfill one mitzvah, like mezuzah, b'shleimut, that means every time you pass by a mezuzah, you kiss that mezuzah. You go like this. You say the verses. Did anybody teach you that yet?
What
No.
verse?
Okay, fine.
Where are they written?
Oh, this is
They're
another
inside or in
class.
the back or-
Another class. In any case, let's say you attach yourself to this mitzvah and you got the kavanas, the right intentions. So you are going to almost that vibration, that level of energy that you create. Don't forget, every single action we do creates an angel. That angel is an energy. That energy has a vibration to it. You all of a sudden like shook a rope that extends all the way into the spiritual dimensions. And then all of a sudden the heavens are shaking. Mitzvah. I love that one.
Like this?
Let me go down and help this dude. Okay? So, in other words, whatever mitzvah you choose,
Angels with
you right? It's a great story. Okay? Help me to find it. Help me to find it, Hashem, please. Baruch Hashem. The Arizal, Rabbi Yitzchak Luria, who was a huge Kabbalist, right? This guy saw souls, way beyond, right? He saw things that nobody else saw, okay? He was able to look at the forehead of people and go, my man, what'd you eat today? Right? Like something like that. Man, you ate lobster? What the hell's the matter with you? Right? Something like that. Right? It's like, that's why he was called the Ari. The Ari is means lion, which means people would run from him like a lion. Because the rabbi's down the street. Come. Hi, Rabbi! Okay. So, in any case, he's hanging out, right? One day, Rebbe Shmuel Uzida, he wrote a famous work called Midrash Shmuel, right? On Pirkei Avos, on chapters of the ethics of the fathers. And he comes in, right, in front of the Rav. The Rav, all of a sudden, and this guy's come in before, he's not a newcomer. He comes in occasionally, they meet, they're in the same city, part of the group. Right? He comes in and all of a sudden the Rebbe gets up before him. He says, please sit here next to me. Right? And he doesn't usually do that. And he spoke with him about all of his needs and everything like that. Right? Until the thing was very, all of the Chaverim, the other people are going like, why is he giving this Rebbe Shmuel such special attention today? He gets up, has him sit down on his right. Sitting down on the right is not a slouchy thing. Right? So Rav Chaim Vital finally mustered up the courage to say, "What's with this, right? What today? Why is today such a day where you give this person such honor?" So, mashallah, and you never did it any other times, right? So the Arizal says to him, "I didn't get up in front of him because of him, okay? Rather, I got up because I saw Pinchas ben Yair came with him." As a sage from the father-in-law of Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, his name is Pinchas ben Yair. Actually, you'll know him probably if you ever read Mesilas Yesharim, Path of the Just. The entire book is based on that. One little thing, Pinchas ben Yair, who says that watchfulness leads to zeal, zeal leads to this, finally till Techiyas Amesim, till revival of the dead. Anyways, the entire Musar ethic, that classic work is based on that one case. Huge Talmudic sage from, you're talking about like in the time of Shimon Bar Yochai, right? This is like, 1,000 years before. Not 1,000, maybe 800. So anyways, he sees the spirit of this guy with him. He says, I saw Pinchas ben Yair come with him. I'm not going to get up for Pinchas ben Yair. Okay? Didn't you see that? No. So anyways, he says, I saw Pinchas ben Yair come with him. And because of the mitzvah that he did, that Rav Shmuel did, he did a mitzvah. What that Rebbe Pinchas ben Yair also was habitual to do. Right? So that's why Pinchas ben Yair was attached to Rebbe Shmuel. So when Rav Chaim Vital, the student of the Arizal, heard this, right? He got up, he ran it after to go catch up with Rebbe Shmuel. Right? So, v'yasbi'ehu v'yamar lo b'chai adoni. He swore to him in the life of his master that he should tell me what mitzvah did he do today. He wanted to know, and emphatically, what mitzvah did you do today, Rabbi Shmuel? So, because the Rav said you did some kind of mitzvah. So he says to him, I got up in the morning to go to the synagogue, like my normal way, right, to be one of the first 10. His thing was to be one, it's a big thing to be one of the first 10 in a synagogue, right? Not to be late, okay? But while I was going to the synagogue, I heard a sound of crying, a great crying, right? That was going out from a certain house. So I inclined myself to know what the situation was, right? So I got and I saw all of them. Everybody in the household was crying, a bitter cry. Why? Because what happened was some thieves came in the night and they stole all of their clothes, okay? And that was Abercrombie and Finch, okay? So my Abercrombie and Finch collection, I can't believe it, right? So in any case, they stole all of their clothes and everything that they had to them. So what happened was it just struck a deep place. As Rabbi Shmuel was saying, it struck such a deep place in my heart, right? I was filled with compassion. So I took off my garments and I gave it to them. I gave them my clothes, right? Whatever I had on. I mean, not down to the, wasn't got to be, I gave them, but I gave them my clothes. Variah, and the proof is, look, I had to go back home and I'm wearing my Shabbos clothes. Because that was the only clothes I had. Okay? So when he heard that, Nashku al Rosho ubarchu. So he kissed him on his head and he gave him a blessing. Or if Chaim Vital kissed him on his head and gave him a blessing. Okay? So he says, so obviously the mitzvah that he did was to give these people clothes. Right? Off his back. Right then and there. So obviously Pinchas ben Yair was involved in the same kind of mitzvah. The energy of that mitzvah, right, awoken the neshama, the soul of Rabbi Pinchas ben Yair, who came down to be this ibor, this impregnated level of soul for Rabbi Shmuel. Okay? So going back now in the text, okay?
So who was it that got up for Rabbi Shmuel?
The Arizal, the master. Okay? Okay, so where are we? So note number 3. Thus, from the time that the nefesh has become rectified, the nefesh of a righteous person will enter him and fill the role of the ruach of his original ruach that cannot come down. That's note 3. Sometimes it is even possible for the souls of early tzaddikim, such as the nefesh avinu, or similar souls, to reincarnate. And this depends upon the tikkun and the purification of the nefesh of. Now he doesn't say, right? It doesn't say the actual soul of Avram Avinu, okay? Right? Not the essential soul of Avram Avinu, rather an aspect of one of his lower levels of soul. Avram Avinu is very high, okay? We can't really touch the deeds of the forefathers and what they did. Because every single second, right, they were completely dedicated to fixing and repairing the world, the Shekhinah, praying for every single person in the entire generation in the entire world. They wouldn't move a finger if it wasn't going to be involved in some kind of huge rectification. They were completely on the very high levels of consciousness, okay? But in any case, they leave parts of their lower souls in different realms as that could be a help to people. Okay? As ze yechol ha'adam la'asig, and a person can actually reach these levels through his good deeds, as we bring down, okay, as is brought down in another place. Now, a little interjection here, okay? Something in the Hasidic side of something that we could practice all the time. Okay, because I like to bring sometimes these into actual practice, because this is actually really an amazing thing. It took me years to finally figure this one out, okay, what I'm about to tell you, okay? If anybody is familiar with the first prayer in the silent prayer in our liturgy, the very first prayer, when we go into the silent prayer, we take 3 steps back, 3 steps forward, and we make a blessing. The very first prayer is of the Amidah. What is that first prayer? Do you know how the signature goes?
Patriarchs and the matriarchs.
Patriarchs. Magain Avraham. We say, first things we say is Baruch atah Hashem Elokeinu v'Elokei Avoseinu. Blessed are you, our Hashem, our God. V'Elokei Avoseinu, the God of our forefathers. Elokei Avraham, Elokei Yitzchak, v'Elokei Yaakov. We say that the first thing. We cannot move unless you say this. This is the entrance. This is your tickets to be able to stand before HaKadosh Baruch Hu, the Holy One, blessed be He. But, you know, it always bothered me, the signature of this blessing. The signature of this blessing is you bow down, you go Baruch atah Hashem, you say Magain Avraham, shield of Abraham. Now, in the Shulchan Aruch, the Code of Jewish Law, this blessing, this first blessing is so important that it's brought down that if you didn't say this blessing with intention, in other words, if you were sleeping while you were saying this blessing, right, you have to go back and say it. Because you have all of the rest of the blessing if you didn't have intention, if you were thinking about grocery shopping, okay? But if this one of you are thinking about grocery shopping, you got to go back. Now, these days, the actual halacha is you don't go back, because who says that you got to go back? Who says the time you got to go back and say it? You still got to say it right. Most chances not. You'll go to sleep and you'll be thinking about the vegetables that you need to buy.
What do you mean
in
by the
Kroger.
word signature? What is
So meaning the end off of the blessing, it's called the signature of the blessing. Okay, the signature, the end last words of that first blessing is blessed are you Hashem, Magain Avraham, shield of Abraham. Magain is shield. And I always had a question: what does that mean? And that's such an important blessing. You got to say that. And if you didn't have an intention, according to the letter of the law, you should really go back. We're not going back these days. We don't go back these days and say it. But what's this Magain business? Why can't you say, Baruch atah Hashem Elokei Avraham? Blessed are you, Hashem, who is the God of Magain. What's this Magain business? What's this shield?
The truth.
Which is what? Oh, the
God's
shield
truth.
of truth. That's nice. Okay?
What is the answer?
So the answer is, I'm telling you, I found it sometimes you got to find it from places that are so out and extreme to finally give you an idea. So it came from a computer game, okay? The computer game, a silly game, okay, called Assassin's Creed, okay? She's laughing, right? What? Assassins? What are you talking about, Rabbi?
Played Assassin's Creed.
What? I've never played it. Don't forget, I stand on the back of other people going, what are you playing this? And how long have you been playing this for? Right? Oh, about 12 hours straight. Okay, I'm like, it's time to stop. Take a break, okay? So in any case, I ask, and what's the story? Okay, because there's got to be some kind of story besides the guy jumping off buildings and fighting and doing whatever. So the story was that this person was on a death row, and basically through lethal injection. Of course, some scientists needed this person for their study, so they faked the death and kidnapped the body and took him to their lab hidden some way. And they say you are an ancestor of a group of people who are like these assassins. A group of assassins who were involved in maintaining balance in the world. Of course, they were good assassins, okay? So there's such a thing as a good assassin. You didn't know that at the time. But anyways, what we need to do is we need to put you in this machine because we're looking for something, because your ancestor hid something that we're trying to find. So we're going to inject you with this serum. We're going to put you in this like kind of visual machine, and you're going to relive through your genes hundreds of years your ancestor to find out what he did with this gizmo. He hit what he hit. So he goes in the machine. Yeah, unbelievable experience. He's like living hundreds of years in the past, jumping off buildings and whatever. Okay? So all I remember is jumping off buildings. Again, and he gets some more information, and he goes in again, and he goes, nobody has gone the fourth time. If you go the fourth time, I have to go in.
There's only so much LSD you can handle.
Right? So in any case, what happens is the guy finally goes into this machine and he realizes he is that person, that assassin, and he understands what his mission now is. He comes to understand through living who his ancestor was 300 years prior. So then he takes his role. Unfortunately, the scientists who were hiring him, they were the bad guys wanting to control him, but of course he broke out and he took care of those guys. Okay, as the story goes. Okay, but in any case, the idea was he went into this machine and discovered who he was. The idea here is that I finally got Magen Avraham. Hashem holds the Avraham gene within all of us. He protects that gene. He is the shield. That is the shield. That Avraham gene within all of us, when we do that first blessing, we access that very gene of Avraham Avinu. We access our mission because Avraham Avinu, to go real far out now, okay, there's this one little passage in Rabbi Nachman's book on his, what do you call it, Oedipus Epidus, whatever you call it.
Opus Magnus.
Thank you, Opus Magnus, called Likutei Moharan. And he's got, everything is numbered, every single section, chapter is numbered. But there's one which doesn't have, just one second, it's called Likutei Moharan. There's one section which it doesn't even get a number on it. It's in between book 1 and book 2, and there's no number on this one because it's so important. It's so important that he shoves it down, and everybody knows where to find it. No one can lose it. And it's called Chad Haya Avraham. Avraham was one. And he says Avraham was willing to stand against the world for what he did that. Every Jew has their very unique mission, a very unique frequency. Must transmit that no one else, past, present, or future, can do. And you have to be willing to stand against the world. Ha'ivri, the Hebrew, Avraham Ha'ivri, which means he crossed the side. He crossed. Okay, literally you'll look at it as if he crossed the Jordan River. That's why they called him Avraham the crosser man, crosser meister, or whatever you call him. Okay? Right? All right? Right? Crossinator. He's a crossinator. Okay? So but it's a different kind of crossing. It's a spiritual crossing. He drew a line, he says, this is my mission and this is who I am. And I'm gonna mamish go out there full force. So Avraham, the program, sod, formula of Avraham, right, is I'm going to transmit my message to the world, right? I don't care what the naysayers say. It's very daring, isn't it? Right? I have my special, unique portion in Torah that I must transmit. So therefore, when we say in the blessing, Magen Avraham, we are connecting to our unique level of soul. That actually, Avram Avinu now is within us. There's your little mitzvah. Avram Avinu, the patriarch of Avram, a sliver of that neshama of Avram Avinu that God is protecting within all of us, we now connect with. You now realize when you come out of this first blessing, Magen Avraham, you are Avraham. And therefore you have a mission to change the world. Okay? And you can change the world. Okay? Sorry to introduce with that, but I'd like to put in some practical things that you can meditate on. Okay? Let's go on.
Who wrote Likutei Moharan?
Rabbi Nachman of Breslov.
Ah.
Reincarnations, okay, going on. Okay? So sometimes, just going back on that paragraph that we did already, right? Just go through a little bit more, folks, just to finish to the end of the page. Tzaddikim, such as the nefesh of our patriarch Avram Avinu, depends upon the tikkun and purification of the nefesh of the person, and the meaning the good deeds that you do. You should wake up every morning saying, what really good deed can I do today? Okay? That's what it merely means to be shomer mitzvot. Shomer is another word, shomer, besides observant. Not a good word.
It means guardian.
We learn it from Avram. We learn it for actually this week's parsha. How cool! When Yosef came to Yaakov Avinu the second time with the regular Gilgul, that means the person has to die with a new soul, and an Ibor. An Ibor is while the person is alive. The basic difference between a regular Gilgul and an Ibor is, according to what we have learned here, as follows. A regular Gilgul involves reincarnation from one lifetime to another. Ibor, on the other hand, is the impregnation of a person's soul by the soul of a rectified righteous tzaddik. By the way, this comes while the person is sleeping. It brings down here in the Perush, okay? While this person will come, this other soul. And there can only be, we say, a maximum number of 3 souls that can come in. So it's hello. Okay? Just let's finish this, okay? Just one second. In the case under discussion here, Ibur occurs because the nefesh has completed its tikkun, but it cannot receive ruach, his ruach, without reincarnating, since the tikkun did not place in its first Gilgul. So therefore, a person, you're listening now, okay? When there's voices in your head, and hopefully it's not schizophrenia, okay? It's another whole topic, and it is my father-in-law. He did want to say there could be some schizophrenias are not an Ibor, because an Ibor is always a positive influence, not a negative, okay? Always a positive influence to be a better person. So the idea when concepts fall into your head, when you're waiting in line at the post office while you're paying your taxes, okay? When you're not focusing and all of a sudden you get ideas in your head, right? Of to do something inspiring, something good. You're really motivated. All of a sudden, there could be an Ibor that is within you that is always pushing you to further fulfill your tikkun and your mission. And it could even be at certain times, like in Shemona Esrei, like Avram Avinu, okay? And then you'll see, I'm telling you, if you follow the path, and you'll be aware of the thoughts in your head. Now, it could be, I'll just cut to the chase, and we'll end today, that a person could mess up and do something bad, okay? And then that Ibor says, you smell. And then I'm leaving. I'm out, right? So it packs its bags and heads out the door. And you go, no, wait, no. No, okay? Okay, so in other words, if a person does a certain negative deed, so there could be that Ibor, that impregnation belief, okay? Because no, I can't be part of that. I cannot support this kind of activity, okay? And so therefore, the person can be left, of course, alone with just a nefesh. So in other words, it's not necessarily once it's in permanently, okay? But in any case, the idea really is of our mitzvahs have energies, look forward to a mitzvah, wake up in the morning, say, what mitzvah can I do today? How can I even turn my mundane activities into mitzvahs? Washing dishes, right? Cleaning the floor, right? Doing things like simple activities, you can turn into mitzvahs, okay? And then, you're going to be on an unbelievable path of growth for everybody. Okay, any questions?
What
Yes.
does it mean that there can only be three? What are,
Three souls.